The next big trend for billionaires in China are private mini skyscraper homes that are worth hundreds of millions. Hong Kong's Kwai International Holdings has a plan to reshape the future of real estate for billionaires in China. They want billionaires to stop thinking about luxury homes in terms of mansions, and start thinking about them in terms of skyscrapers. The first home in this trend that they are spearheading is a glass palace that is truly breathtaking. This first home stretches out 8 stories. It has 44,388 square feet of living space and is said to be an eco-friendly masterpiece. This all runs up a price tag of around $365 million. Doing the math on this home, it works out to be roughly $8,223 per square foot as far as amenities go. So far it looks like they're going with a more modern minimalist design scheme. This home may actually not feature common things like its own private movie theater, instead it focuses on green designs. It has its own 4,446 square foot garden and a 2,197 square foot roof terrace. Once you look at this house you really start to understand why it's so freaking expensive. It is beautiful. What I truly love about the design is the glass work on the windows. If you look closely you'll see ripples in the glass that resemble the waves of the ocean reflected in those very windows. Most of the time the trend of this home doesn't tickle my fancy, but this time, I really understand that this would be the strange trend of building towers. Like there's some sort of Jenga game midway through, they have mismatched blocky shapes purposefully out of alignment. This kind of design is particularly popular in China, where the weirder your tower is shaped, the better. Some are calling the design trend post-weird. Of course, looking through these windows is much more impressive than looking at them. That's because the home features an unbeatable view of the Hong Kong South China Sea beachfront. Getting to stare down at the tide from 8 stories is worth a few mil just by itself. Not only that, but the neighborhood is not so bad either. It will be built on 28 Po Shan Road. This is in Hong Kong's wealthy mid-levels neighborhood, and it is one of the finest areas and the most expensive city to live in the entire world. This neighborhood is actually well known for featuring massively expensive luxury properties, and many of them actually have pretty similar prices, such as properties that run up to $438 million. Don't prepare a counter-offer just yet, because this project has been in the works since 2009. They spent $42 million acquiring the land and have spent years perfecting their project. Despite the fact that people are losing their minds over how cool this building looks, it's not a done deal just yet. They need a full commitment from a buyer before they actually start on the skyscraper. This is essentially a $300 million down payment, and it's all that stands between these designs and reality. This entire project is only one part of a much greater trend going around the world for luxury homes. That would be the personal skyscraper home, which they have renamed vertical villas. These homes are pretty much the apex of every modern design, popular among the elite. We've seen the trend of modern homes that look boxy on the outside, with a white-on-white color scheme that's almost blinding. That color scheme continues into the rooms with minimalist interior design and strange-looking furniture. They have literally taken that exact same concept, but they're adding 7 more floors on top, to make it look like a mini skyscraper. It's basically the architectural equivalent of the first guy who decided to put not 1, but 2 patties on a cheeseburger. Genius. Despite their over-the-top decadence, many of the homes are said to be quite eco-friendly. If you've been watching design trends lately, you know that the proposed look for buildings of the future feature a ton of overgrown greenery running down the exterior walls, terrace gardens throughout the building, and of course the advertisement that they are fully carbon neutral. If you're going to shell out tens of millions on a home right now, it might as well also save the world. I really wasn't kidding when I said pretty much every popular design firm is coming up with their own pitch for these things. The firm Designer Ware has several similar pitches to the Chinese Glass Palace. The Ribbon House is a much simpler home with a cute residential style to it. It has a budget of $50,000 for 5,000 square feet. It's called Ribbon because they say it's thin as a ribbon. This home may very well end up being attached to another building. A vertical villa may end up becoming the new penthouse suite. Then there's the vertical village, which is made up of several different vertical villas, combined into one massive property. A series of jagged towers intersect each other at rough angles, forming a new kind of apartment building, one that covers 500,000 square feet, and that will cost millions to bring to life. Hopefully its interesting design choice is enough to justify its existence, over just a normal complex. The company Good Earth is looking to recreate the urban environment altogether. They want it to look like something right out of nature. They've spent millions, making new kinds of apartment complexes, and now private vertical villas. They are leaders in terms of green architecture and now green private skyscrapers. Of course, no matter how eco-friendly they say these homes are, you know each and every one of them will feature their own private pool, if not two. You rarely ever see a luxury spot these days without a pool, and Good Earth doesn't seem to be changing this trend. Each and every building is advertised to have its own rooftop pool. The future still needs its luxuries, I guess so. You've seen it here. First in 30 years we'll all have our own super green private skyscrapers. Well, those of us who haven't bought a villa on Mars. That is so what started this whole obsession with private skyscrapers. Well, that would be Mukesh Ambani, the second richest man in Asia and the 11th richest man in the world, and his legendary skyscraper mansion. I'm of course talking about his one-of-a-kind home, Antilia. The designers of the Glass Tower in Hong Kong specifically stated that Antilia was their main inspiration for their own mini skyscraper. So how does it compare against Ambani's masterpiece? Well, let's start with price. The new Chinese mini skyscraper was $365 million. While that price would blow most homes out of the water, it doesn't come close to the $2.2 billion Ambani paid for his place. What about size? The new house was 8 stories tall. The average height of 8-story buildings is around 75 feet. But Ambani's real estate crown jewel stretches out over 27 stories and over 560 feet. It's literally so big that it requires a staff of over 600 to keep it going. Hold on. To put that into proper perspective, the Queen of England only has around 400 people taking care of Buckingham Palace. We know that Hong Kong's Glass Tower seems to be a little light on amenities. It seems to have more of a minimalist mindset. Antilia has exactly the opposite. The home has some of the best amenities ever built into a property that includes not 1, not 2, but 3 helipads. A garage capable of carrying 160 cars, a fitness center, with a provided swimming pool and its own movie theater big enough to seat 50. Moreover, Antilia has a snow room that would be a room that duplicates the look of a typical night in Antarctica. The pool basically looks like a melting iceberg. This looks like something you'd see in the Penguin's mansion, or something of the sort. So yeah, it definitely wins. The only way that I'd say the new property overtakes Antilia's is in its design. The Glass Skyscraper is a gorgeous work of modern architecture with its rippling ocean windows and interesting shapes.